They say money doesn't change who you are, it only reveals the truth about those around you. And sometimes, a single moment of ignorance can cost someone not just their reputation, but their entire career. This is exactly what happened inside a luxury hotel one quiet evening. A black guest, dressed simply and traveling without an entourage, walked in expecting nothing more than a peaceful stay and good service. He wasn't looking for special treatment, nor was he asking for favors. All he wanted was the basic courtesy any paying customer should receive. But what he encountered was something far different. The hotel's manager, standing tall with arrogance and fueled by prejudice, decided that this guest didn't deserve the same service others were receiving. When the black man requested room service, he was coldly denied. Not because the kitchen was closed, not because the hotel had run out of staff, but because of something much darker, the color of his skin. The manager, with a dismissive tone, told him flat out, "We don't serve people like you here." Most people in that situation would have walked away in anger or shame. But this guest didn't shout, he didn't beg, and he didn't argue. Instead, he simply nodded, thanked the manager for his time, and left quietly. To anyone watching, it might have seemed like he was giving up. What no one in that lobby realized, however, was that within just 10 minutes, the entire power dynamic in that hotel would flip upside down. Because this wasn't just any guest. This man wasn't powerless, nor was he ordinary. He was someone whose position, influence, and wealth could change the course of another person's life with a single decision. And the very man who had disrespected him, the one who had denied him service, was about to learn that the world he thought he controlled was much smaller than he imagined. 10 minutes later, the phone at the front desk rang. A hushed conversation followed. Eyes widened. The manager, who had so confidently turned away the guest, was called aside. And in front of his entire staff, he was informed that his services were no longer needed at the hotel. The same guest he had disrespected was revealed to be the hotel's own top investor, the man who actually had the power to decide who stayed, who worked, and who left. The man he had just tried to humiliate was, in fact, the man signing his paycheck. That night, a painful but powerful lesson unfolded inside those walls. Respect should never be measured by appearances, and arrogance always comes with a price. This is the story of how a single act of discrimination turned into a career-ending mistake, and how, in just 10 minutes, one man's prejudice destroyed everything he thought he had built. The moment the truth came out, silence filled the lobby. The same staff who had watched their manager with pride just moments earlier now looked away in disbelief. Some of them felt embarrassed, others ashamed, and a few quietly relieved that justice had been served so swiftly. The guest, now revealed to be the hotel's top investor, did not celebrate, nor did he mock the man who had insulted him. Instead, he remained calm, composed, and dignified. He simply said, "Respect is the one thing money can't buy. Either you have it or you don't." And with that, he walked away, leaving behind a lesson no one in that building would ever forget. But this story isn't just about one hotel or one arrogant manager. It is about the deeper reality that too many people live with every single day. Discrimination, prejudice, and arrogance don't always show themselves in grand or dramatic ways. Sometimes they hide in small moments, a dismissive glance, a denied service, a quiet insult disguised as policy. Yet each of those moments carries weight because they reveal the true heart of a person and the culture of an organization. That manager believed he had power. He thought that wearing a suit, standing behind a counter, and having a title made him untouchable. But what he failed to understand is that power is never about titles. Power is about character. True power is not measured by how many people you command, but by how much respect you give to others, regardless of who they are. The guest in this story could have reacted differently. He could have shouted, caused a scene, or demanded immediate respect. But instead, he chose patience. He chose wisdom. He chose silence, because he knew that the real answer would not come through arguments, but through actions. And that silence turned out to be louder than any words could have been. So what can we learn from this? First, never underestimate anyone. The person you disrespect today could be the very person who holds the keys to your future. You never truly know who you are speaking to or what influence they carry behind the scenes. Treating people with dignity is not just the right thing to do morally, it is also the smartest thing to do practically. Second, never let arrogance blind you. That manager thought his small position gave him authority to decide who was worthy and who was not. But arrogance is a fragile shield. It breaks the moment reality steps in. And when it breaks, it leaves behind nothing but regret. Third, remember that respect should be unconditional. Too many people give respect only when they believe someone deserves it based on wealth, status, or looks. But real respect is universal. It does not depend on how much money someone has, what car they drive, or what color their skin is. It is a basic human right. The downfall of that manager was not simply that he disrespected the wrong man. His downfall was that he disrespected any man. Because true leadership, true hospitality, and true humanity require respect across the board. Think about it. How many times in history have people underestimated others because of how they looked? How many stories begin with someone being dismissed, ignored, or insulted, only to rise up later and prove everyone wrong? This story is one of those moments, but it should serve as a reminder that such moments don't need to happen at all if we live with humility from the start. The staff at that hotel never forgot that day. Some of them, who had quietly suffered under that manager's arrogance, later said it was the most powerful lesson they had ever witnessed. One of them even admitted, "I realized in that moment that kindness is the only currency that never loses value." And isn't that the truth? Money can fade, positions can change, titles can disappear. But the way you treat people lasts forever, both in their memory and in your legacy. This story spread beyond the walls of that hotel. It became a quiet example whispered in staff meetings, shared in training sessions, and remembered every time someone new joined the team. It wasn't just about avoiding mistakes, it was about embracing values. Because here's the reality. In life, you will never regret showing respect, but you will always regret disrespect. The guest in this story never raised his voice, never demanded recognition, never tried to prove his worth. Why? Because real worth doesn't need to be proven. It speaks for itself. And sometimes, the most powerful statement you can make is to let people reveal who they are, while you remain exactly who you are. The manager revealed arrogance. The guest revealed dignity. And in the end, dignity always wins. Now, let's take this lesson further. Imagine if that manager had chosen differently. Imagine if he had smiled, offered room service, and treated the guest with kindness. Not only would he still have his job, but he might have earned the respect of a man who had the ability to transform his career. That single moment of humility could have opened doors instead of closing them. But arrogance blinds people to opportunity. And that's the heartbreaking truth. How many opportunities have been lost in the world because someone couldn't look past their own prejudice? How many bridges have been burned, not because of lack of skill, but because of lack of respect? This story may sound shocking, but it is not unique. Every day, somewhere in the world, people are dismissed for how they look, spoken down to because of where they come from, or denied opportunities because of assumptions. And every day, somewhere in the world, those same people rise higher than anyone expected, proving wrong the very ones who tried to hold them down. The lesson is clear. You never lose by being respectful. You never lose by being kind. You never lose by being fair. And when you're in a position of power, that responsibility grows even greater. A manager, a leader, a supervisor, these are not just titles. They are responsibilities. The way you treat others sets the tone for the culture around you. If you lead with arrogance, arrogance will spread. If you lead with kindness, kindness will multiply. That hotel manager lost his job in 10 minutes because of arrogance. But the guest gained something much greater, not just the satisfaction of justice, but the quiet reminder that dignity is stronger than prejudice. As you listen to this story, ask yourself, how do I treat people when no one is watching? Do I respect people regardless of their status, or do I measure their worth by what they can give me? Do I see humanity first, or judgment first? Because at the end of the day, titles fade, positions end, and wealth shifts. But character remains. And it is character, not status, that will determine how people remember you. So the next time you're tempted to dismiss someone, remember the story. Remember that the person in front of you could change your life tomorrow, or they could simply walk away, remembering forever how you treated them. And even if they never hold power over you, treating them with dignity still matters. Because every human being deserves respect, not because of what they have, but because of who they are. This story is not just about a hotel, a manager, or a guest. It is about life itself. It is about the choices we make in small moments, and how those choices ripple out far beyond what we can see. One act of arrogance ended a career. One act of dignity preserved a legacy. The question is, when your moment comes, which choice will you make?